Welcome. We are now live from Santa Cruz, California, and we're about to talk about some awesome time management tips. My name is Joe McCullough. I'm the physics program chair at Cabrillo College in Santa Cruz, California, and I've been talking about how to get the most out of your 86,400 seconds. Hey, Jay, we're going to start in about a minute. Let me turn the camera around and say hello. Okay, welcome. So we are going to be talking about how to get the most out of your 86,400 seconds. Hey Colin, that's how much time we get every single day, and we all get the same amount. Nobody gets any more or any less, unless you happen to be traveling near the speed of light, in which case, actually I won't go into that right now, but we will touch about relativity at some point this year. I've already talked about 6 awesome time management techniques over the last few days. I will recap them, and then today we're going to finish with 2 more awesome time management techniques. Make sure you get the most out of your 86,400 seconds. Let's jump right into it. Very first thing we talked about, tip number 1, is apply the 80-20 principle. 80-20 principle says this: 80% of our results come from only 20% of our efforts. And these are our high value tasks, the tasks that give us the most bang for our buck. Flip side of the 80-20 principle is the other 80% of our efforts only produce 20% of our results. These are our low value tasks, and as you can see by the unhappy face, those are the tasks that we want to avoid. Great way of thinking about this: all tasks are not created equally. We get a lot more benefit from a few things that we do than from the majority. So really focus on, hey Satir, focus on what are those minority of tasks that produce the most results, and spend the majority of your time on those. Second tip I went through is know how you will use your spare minutes. Spare minutes are little gifts of time. It's any time that we spend waiting in line or waiting in an appointment, or the big one is commuting. If you commute 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year, that's 125 hours that you're spending in your car you could be using to better your mind by listening to awesome podcasts, great personal development CDs and MP3s, and other motivational items. I really recommend filling your iPhone, filling your smartphone, hey Sergio, with things that are going to empower your mind, and spend your commute becoming a better person, learning skills that are going to help you advance no matter what your career. Tip number 3, plan your day on paper. Plan your day the night before, plan it on paper. Ask yourself the following question: what is the most important thing I need to get done tomorrow? And then what are 2 other important things that I really need to get done? Ideally, you want to limit yourself to 3 big things, but think about what is the most important one that you need to get done. That's what you should be spending the majority of your time on. Quick tip number 4, schedule your power hour. Power hour is a 1-hour block of time that you're going to schedule ideally every single day, from 7 to 8, or from 8 to 9, or from 6 to 7. Schedule it during the time when you know you're the most productive. For some people, they're most productive in the morning. Other people, they're most productive in the afternoon. For some, it's in the evening. For me personally, I like to work late at night. My power hours from 9 to 10. During your power hour, here's what you're going to do. Turn off all electronics that aren't 100% completely necessary for the task at hand, meaning no Facebook, no email, no text messaging. Turn off everything that's not going to help you get done what you need to get done. And then when you work, what you want to do is work in a 25-minute block of focused attention. So 25 minutes on, then take a 5-minute break, a complete break from what you're doing. Get up, stand, move, hydrate, eat something. Then another 25 minutes on, followed by a 5-minute break. So it's called a power hour, but you're really working for 50 solid minutes. But let me tell you, 50 focused minutes without distraction is worth 2 or 3 hours of trying to work while you're distracted. Tip number 5 for how to get the most out of your 86,400 seconds is prepare your state. This MEP stands for mental, emotional, and physical. Those are the three different aspects of our state, and they're all connected. Couple things you can do to help prepare your state. Actually, before we do that, question. How many of you are athletes? Woo, raise your hand. Any hearts athletes? Any musicians here? Hearts musicians. If you're an athlete or musician, you know how important it is to warm up before a concert, before a big game. It's important to get your muscles warmed up. Nobody ever thinks about warming up their brain before sitting down to work. But that simple step alone can almost double your productivity. So a couple things to think about in warming up your brain. One, you never want to work if you're physically exhausted or just mentally not in the right space. Your time is much better spent if you're physically exhausted. Take a quick little jog around the block, move, make sure that you're in an upbeat physical state before you try and sit down and focus. And then two, if you're feeling anxious, spend some time doing a relaxation process, meditate, make sure that your mind is in the proper state. And later this year, I'm going to be giving a really great relaxation technique called the alpha state process, designed to get your brain in the optimal brainwave state. So a couple things to think about. One, workspace is organized. Make sure before you sit down to do anything, you have all the tools, everything that you're going to need right at your disposal, so you're not having to stop work to go get a pencil, go get a notebook, things like that. Two, you want to make sure you're mentally prepared. I mentioned this before, don't sit down and try and work if you're feeling anxious or just not in a good mental state. And then three, know your outcome and your why. What exactly do you want to get accomplished, and why is it important to you? Number 6 of how to get the most out of your 86,400 seconds is practice proactive procrastination. What this means is that we cannot do it all. If you're going to say yes to something, that automatically means by default that you're saying no to other things. Practicing proactive procrastination means not working on any low-value tasks when there's still high-value tasks to be done. Make sure you work intently on the most important things you need to get accomplished before you get distracted by other little things that always inevitably pop up. Proactively procrastinate on the small majority of things, or actually the majority of things that produce the minority of your results. And then last two time management tips for this series. Number 7, assign a dollar value to your time. I learned this in a seminar a bunch of years ago, and I love this thought. Let's say that your time is worth $300 an hour. If that's the case, then if you can get somebody else to do something and pay them less than that, then what you're really doing is you're making money. The way I've used this in the past is, let's say I assign my time $300 an hour. What I realize is sometimes I could spend 2 or 3 hours on the computer researching airline tickets, trying to find the best deal, and the end result is I've saved $25 or $50 from 3 hours of stress and checking websites and things like that. So what you really want to think about is delegating tasks that are not worth your time. Your time is better spent doing something else, and if you can delegate these minor tasks, great. And then the very last one, eliminate perfectionism. Perfectionism is really a way of just wasting time by making sure every single thing is absolutely perfect, and I myself suffer from this. In terms of making little videos for my class, I could spend 6-7 hours making a 10-minute introduction video for a physics chapter. And what I realize is small mistakes, the end result is don't need to be a perfectionist. It's better to just actually go out and get it done, and then you can start to perfect it or try and improve it along the way. One of the reasons that I'm doing these daily periscopes is that just get on live. If I make a mistake, so be it. Along those lines, I am here every single day periscoping, and my goal is to share daily doses of education, inspiration, and motivation. We've talked today about goal setting. I've also shown some pretty cool magic tricks, talked a bit about goal setting, and then Monday I'm going to start a series on the brain. I'm going to talk about how people learn and 5 important brain facts that you need to know in order to get the most of your brain. Thank you for joining me. My name is Dr. Joe McCullough. I am the best-selling author of Accelerated Learning Techniques for Students. I'm an expert on the brain and how people learn, and over the next year I'm going to be sharing with you some great information that's going to help you get the most out of your brain. Before I leave, what questions can I answer about time management techniques? If I don't have any questions, I'm going to give you a quick little summary. I talked about 8 time management techniques. We've got apply the 80-20 principle. All tasks are not created equally. Figure out those minority of tasks that you do that produce the majority of your results. 2, know how to use your spare minutes. Highly recommend that you make your commute a time of learning. Start putting motivational and inspirational MP3s on your smartphone. Listen to them when you have spare minutes. Also talked about planning your day. Thank you for the hearts. Plan your day the night before and plan it on paper. Ask yourself, what is the most important thing I need to get accomplished tomorrow? And then make sure you do it. Hey, Bobber. 4, schedule your power hour. Power hour is 1 hour every single day, ideally scheduled at the exact same time. When you eliminate distractions, you work in small, focused bursts of attention, 25 minutes on, 5-minute break, 25 minutes on, 5-minute break. We also have 4, prepare your state, your mental, emotional, and physical state. Before you sit down to work, make sure that you're in the right state of mind, the right physical state. Don't work if you're physically or mentally exhausted. We also have practice proactive procrastination. This means that procrastinating low-value tasks in favor of your high-value tasks. Do not work on things that aren't producing the majority of your results. Assign a dollar value to your time. If your time is worth $50, $100, $200, $300 an hour, then delegate tasks that aren't worth your time. And then last but not least, eliminate perfectionism. That's it. 8 time management tips to help you get the most out of your 86,400 seconds. My name is Dr. Joe McCullough. I am scoping every day, sharing daily doses of education, motivation, and inspiration. If that sounds good to you, please swipe to the right on an iPhone, swipe straight up on an Android. Please follow me. Monday, I'm going to be starting a new series on the brain, how people learn, and 5 important brain facts you need to know. Okay, thank you so much from Santa Cruz, California. My name is Joe, and we are done for the day. I hope to catch you tomorrow.